A little love and distance. A little love and distance. If it's broke, then fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yo. Hello, YouTube. My fellow, people that watch me for my entertainment or for, just for observation, I guess. I wanted to give you guys some, a little insight and, a look back on what I did on one of my old videos like 4 days ago. It had the title of For the Sons and Daughters with the Tekken Kashi Mishima on the front with his, I think that's his son, Jin. I don't know if that's his son, but I know for a fact the guy on his left is his father. That's a story, man, for a different time, though. Just wanted to get back on what I was expressing on that last video, on that second to last video, on my experience in life, in this world that we living in, or making the best of what we got, so it was basically about high school experience, ninth and 10th grade, really. And I was basically saying in the song, if you hear me muffling and mumbling, I'm gonna have to tighten up on that so I can understand what I'm saying more, But this was basically just a video on me commentating on the video on top of my high school experience and a breakdown of that 4 days ago video for the topic of for my sons and for my daughters. All right. Y'all not really my sons and daughters. I'm y'all son. Honestly, I'm y'all son. But yeah, I'm just here just giving y'all a briefing and expression and, briefing on how I maintained on the 8th and the 9th grade and also 10th. But mostly 8th, it would be more like the prepper of what's to come. 8th and 9th. Okay, so basically 8th grade, I was already coming from the experience of feeling, I guess you would say I was trying to feel the experience of, feeling loved. I was feeling it a little bit in the 7th grade and in the 6th grade, but it didn't really transfer over since I had moved. I moved a lot. I would say a couple times. I wouldn't say a whole lot, but a couple times. And yeah, man, it was just like 8th grade was just like a fish pulled out of the ocean and thrown into a lake, I would say. And that would be 8th grade for me. You had to figure out what your lane is. You basically, the foundation and the root of this, I would say, it's like you got to really find yourself and your foundation of yourself. No matter if mom and dad or the kids at school, as long as you know how to love yourself, bro, and female, love yourself, bro. And sometimes you gotta just take a couple L's here and there. I'm not gonna say you're never gonna take L's in life. That's definitely not what I'm saying. You're gonna take L's, but some L's aren't just losses, they're learning processes. So yeah. And, I would say, I had a taste of what it is. I gotta sacrifice myself just to be loved a lot. Which there is good times where you just doing yourself a volunteer thing and it just comes with benefits. Sometimes it don't. I'm not saying every time you gotta do a good deed you're expected to get a good thing and receive. You're just supposed to practice good and righteousness from what from my coming up in the world. Coming from a Jamaican background, and righteousness is basically instilled in us. And sometimes you gotta beat the shit out of the one that ain't doing the righteous thing. Unless they're in your way, of course. I'm not saying if something's in your way and it's not being righteous, of course you either talk your shit and bring it down, or you bring it down physically, verbally or physically is what I would say. Try to practice it too, because sometimes there'd be some bad rooted things that happen around us, and sometimes you just gotta just know how to just be like, man, it ain't time yet. I'm gonna just pace myself and keep my distance and keep an eye on it, kind of thing. But yeah, and honestly, bro, we were born in this world with no enemies, and that's what I watched in this anime called Vinland is the anime with a blonde haired guy. His father tried to teach him that Vinland was a decent anime. I didn't finish it yet, so I'm an anime watcher. Vinland Saga. It's a good little. I heard the second season is gonna be interesting too, but it's a message to know how to like divert yourself from a lot of chaos and violence, and know how to keep your calm in chaos and violence too, because sometimes it's just there and you can't even really remove yourself from it. But just try to keep yourself in calmness. Sometimes you might have to chuckle in your mind. You might chuckle out loud, but you know, as someone taught me when I was growing up after high school, it's crazy how after high school I had to receive this message, but own your shit, you know, even when you did mess up, own that shit, own that junk. Sometimes there be some good accidents happening, and that's how it be. Enjoy it. Even, I'm not saying do some wicked stuff and enjoy that shit. That stuff shouldn't be practiced. You just gotta learn what works and what don't work, you know. Even Kevin Gates is a rapper I listened to that taught me a little thing or two about life. He's the one that got me through it too, other than, you know, family members. And sometimes yourself. Sometimes you gotta just know how to pull yourself out of it. Because sometimes you're not alone, you're never alone. But nature is always there to give you another breath of the day. And yeah, man, that's what I had to realize one day. I was in middle school, 8th grade. I was like, man, I was cracking jokes, trying to do something funny in front of the class a little bit. Not in front of the whole class, but, you know, you find your little way of doing it. And yeah, man, I was just thinking like, wow, I'm about to do what I was doing, trying to pick it up from bottom to top again, trying to be this guy that I'm trying to present to people, which is a part of me. I'm also a friendly guy, and nice guy. But other times I could be, you know, blunt, and that's necessary too, and assertive. That's necessary sometimes too. You know, expressing yourself in an assertive way, making sure that, you know, and, you know, you got to show some charisma a little bit, your own way of it though. Because everyone has their own styles and their own steps in life, you know, so everybody got their own walks in life. You might hear that. That's how you got to do it for yourself. And, you know, maybe another man be winning in front of you, and if he's not showing off in a bad, negative way towards you, then, man, you know, you're going to have a little jelly for it. But, you know, enjoy yours. You know, that's the end of the day. Look at what you have and enjoy what you have, because people probably don't even have certain things that they used to have, and that sucks. And one day I'm going to die, and that's going to suck too. So it's like one day you have it, one day it's gone, even when, you know, things are going the way it goes. I try to practice like meekness, humbleness. You know, your boy Kendrick Lamar, you know, a little bit of both, man. That little squabble Drake and Kendrick had was crazy work. But yeah, man, I'm telling y'all, at the end of the day, high school had them days where even females would throw you off your drift. Don't let nobody get in there unless it's positive, like they add into your situation. And it could be secretive positive, like it'd be outgoing positive, like a little bit of this. It could be a little bit of both. Hold it down for yourselves, man. Even when nobody in your corner sometimes. I'm telling you, I felt like every day I had to walk outside the way I was sad and depressed and stressing. Even in high school. And pick out what needs to be said, and then, you know, throw a little 2 cents in there if you want to. If it's not necessary, then stay back. You'll know when you feel like it's necessary and it's not necessary, man. But yeah, man, that's a little message to the youth, man. To the sons and daughters. 9th and 10th grade. Be probably a part 2 in a lyrical way, verbal lyrical way, you feel me? But it's Scabell, man, and I came from hell. I might go back, but nah, I'm playing. Scabell, man, straight from hell, holding it down, and I ain't going to hell. Don't get it twisted. I ain't trying to talk about no actual hell with fire and death and all that. No, I don't vouch for that. We looking for the safe haven, heaven. You know what I mean? Peace of place and calmness, and a peace of mind to collect your thoughts and to regenerate a good piece of what matters, and that would be you and others. And if your day is messed up, that don't mean it's okay to go take it out on another. Just keep your distance if your day messed up, man. Peace and love from a distance. All right. Cheers, man. I can't, well, there was a time where I'm walking and I seen this female that I always see in the classroom, but I barely be talking that much. And I'm telling you, high school is just a piece to the picture, man. There's going to be a whole wide world bigger than that high school thing that people have put over their minds. Elementary school, all of them schools, man. Even this world, sometimes you got to think outside of the box of this world, or out of the circle of this world, right? You got to learn how to be for you. Not selfish, but for you, of course. And for others, because if you know how to deal with you and take care of you and master yourself, then you'll know how to shed your light if you were designed for yourself to shed and master your light and show how to shine your light onto others. And it would be a nice thing that you just know how to develop within yourself. It's like a computer receiving electricity, you know? You the electricity, and the computer would be your heart, conveying and communicating to yourself and transmitting all of that through your iPhone. You feel me? Yeah. Just wanted to give y'all a little metaphor, a little breakdown on how I would word it. But the way I was trying to speak up to this girl, she kind of was just like, oh, no, this and that. Trying, you know, you're going to take your licks here and there with females, you know, and then walk off. Like, okay, good day. You know, that's what the OGs taught me. You feel me? And yeah, I was like, you should have seen it. There was 2 levels. She was coming from the downstairs level, and I'm going past her, going to the second level. And I just hear, once I said, hey, it's all right, but I haven't seen you in the class in a while. I guess I should have never mentioned something like that. I should have mentioned something off topic. And then she just let me have it. She got in her big duffel bag on me. No, boy, what the fuck? And then she just made me walk past her. That's the first way I ever seen me dodge elevated, heated argument with a female. And there's some with dudes too. But I'm always glad I was like, man, I'm passive, I'm distant, and I can get aggressive. I remember if anyone touched me or any type of way, I'd have to retaliate with an ass whooping. But verbally, I just kept my distance. That was a thing internally I had to develop, which I wasn't taught too much. And that's cool. I'm developing it every day. That's how I be. But she made me dip, boy. I'm telling you, I'm talking about, girl, she made me dip. I went down the second level, didn't hear nothing after that, after I was just getting loudmouthed in the corner of my ear. I was like, bro, I dodged that shit. Like, I did receive it a little bit too, but I had to dodge some of it, you know? She grazed me. Like, that joke was a warfare. All of a sudden, she grazed me. But yeah, man. It's one of the ways I had to get out of there. But that one, I got a little scenario put together for me to be like, all right, you feel me? Cool. We in the hallway. There's no classroom, no setting where you have to be in there and deal with it. So that's why I got my breeze off. I got a way to cool off and just get out of there. And that was good. The heat didn't hit me too badly. But imagine when you're in a classroom, now you got to know how to set your grounds and boundaries. You feel me? Set them joints, own up to it. Don't care. No matter who don't like you in that moment. Watch they forgive you the next 3-4 days after. And then if they ain't even forgive you, bro, let's own up to it. Own your shit and just be like, man, it's all right, bro. I'm my own individual. It's only 4 years. Shit, if they even throw a 5th year, I'm owning all of that shit. And some of them you do regret. I can't act like that one. I kind of had to just experience it. Can't act like I regret it entirely, but I did have to experience it. And yeah, you just like, cool, I'm on the next stage now. We probably didn't need to be speaking to each other. And that's all right. Our world is a lot bigger than this little place that we think matters that much to us. A lot bigger than what we think. Let alone that you know that man created the houses and all of that, the schools and everything we in. The degrees, the diplomas, they created all of that. So if a man can do that, why can't we? And then they already left and did their due, and we are grateful for what they was capable of doing for us. Now it's our turn to use what they gave us and work with what we can and create our own thing from it. Not to entirely just follow, but a good follower becomes a good leader too. And as a good student becomes a good teacher. And the teacher is always learning too. A teacher can always be a student. I'm a student, even when I'm trying to teach. No preach. But yeah, man. Y'all be easy. Y'all be easy. Part 2 is complete.